Like, we're clearly having a rough time. A lot has already happened this year. January was full of enough stuff to fit a whole year, you know? And we're not okay. We put on a brave face, but we're not all right. Clearly, you could tell. That's a distraught laugh. It really is rough out here. Elmo asked us one question. It took nothing. Elmo just said, "How is everybody?" And the floodgates opened. As an internet user, I was embarrassed. The way that everybody just poured everything out to Elmo. If you didn't see it, Elmo tweeted, "Hey, just check it in. How is everybody?" And 185 million views. What, 1 million replies? I don't know how many replies. It was absolutely crazy. Everyone just told Elmo everything that was happening in the moment. There's no better indication that we need universal mental health care than everyone responding to Elmo like he was in the room. That's absolutely insane. I can't believe, poor Elmo. Elmo probably smoking a cigarette right now, trying to calm down after the horrific stuff. Because some people were sending in video, like, all he said was, "How is everybody?" And then people under him, right underneath, like, "They found me guilty, dog." Like, that's insane. This is not real right now. Go seek real help. That's just crazy. I felt for Elmo in that moment. I really did. I have a lot of different feelings about this from a lot of different angles, but the first one is that I felt bad for Elmo. Elmo didn't know. That's why Elmo asked. You know? You ever been that person? You ever been asking somebody how they're doing and then they tell you? You trying to make polite conversation. We won't even see each other in 4 minutes. Just pass by, "How you doing?" And then they're like, "Well, that's unacceptable. That is unacceptable social behavior." It's one thing if you say, you know, "How you doing?" and they say, "Well," and then they don't really want to get into it, and then you ask because you care. That's different, right? I'm not saying you can never tell people what's going on with you, but I'm saying we've all been that person. You in the break room at work. This is your break. This is the only time of day you get to yourself. You in the break room, and then somebody walk in, and you sitting there trying to eat your Hot Pocket, right? Trying to eat your Hot Pocket that you brought for lunch, and you just munching away, trying to have a good time, fighting to find something on YouTube just to get through the day. And then somebody walks in, your worst coworker, you know who they are, they walk in, and then they try to put something in the microwave, and they're pressing every button, just everything, putting it on potato, on popcorn, everything. And it's awkward, because it's only the two of you in the room. And so you go ahead and say, like, "How you doing?" Just throwing it out there just to kill some of the silence, because you couldn't get your earbuds in fast enough, right? And then they go, "Well, I think I married the wrong person." And you're like, "Oh, no! I'm eating my Hot Pocket. I'm not ready for this shit. What's wrong with you?" Just open it up like, I think, you know, because it's like sometimes people grow apart. And it's like grow apart. But also it's important to fight for what you love. You know, you got to fight. But then when's the time to fight? Because, like, the kids love her. They love her. So if I lose her, I lose the kids. You know, even the dog loves her more. Maybe the dog loves her more because she doesn't do this. How about that? Maybe start there. Maybe the dog also is aware of who has the better vibes between the two of you. I don't know, man. I just feel like I'm married to my own casket. Oh, wow. That's rough. I got one more Hot Pocket if I can get past you real quick. No? How is everybody? Just Elmo asking, "How is everybody?" I mean, to be fair to us, I won't put it all on us. Some blame goes with Elmo, some of the blame goes with us. What a stupid question. Think about it. How is everybody is very much a 2012 question. Remember 2012? Remember hope? Remember that? Remember back in 2012. 2012 was supposed to be the last year on Earth according to the Mayan calendar. And we were still twerking like nobody's business, dancing to that Savage song. Remember that? Hip swing, remember that song? We were all dancing, no care in the world. If Elmo had asked us then, we'd be like, hey, it's not all good, but it's not all bad. He decided till after global pandemic and election year, high inflation. How's everybody doing? Get the fuck out of here. What a lunatic. What an absolute tone-deaf fuck. How is everybody doing? You know what it feels like? You know your friendliest friend. Just your real sweetheart of a friend. Like you know they're a good person, but they're annoyingly good. Like y'all be out together. Y'all be out as a group together, hanging out. Maybe 5 of you, 6, 7, 8 of you. And then you shut down the bar. The bar closes. Now you stand outside the bar trying to decide, hey, should I go to another bar? Should I go get food or should I go home, right? And y'all are trying to make this decision as a slightly buzzed group of people. And then a guy from out of nowhere, from the darkness, from the night, a man from the shadows will approach your group, right? And he doesn't look right. He doesn't look right. Everything is wrong. One arm is longer than the other. He doesn't carry his weight well. There's a lot happening. And then my man is just over here like walking up to y'all, and not walking up to y'all, really just slide to the... How's everybody's night going? And then your friendliest friend, your sweetest, friendliest friend, this idiot, will be like, oh, we're pretty good. How are you? Why would you ask that? The answer will not be good. No matter what it is, he's not having a good night. Nobody moves like that. He's having a very particular life. How are you? That's the type of person that's gonna answer you in full, right? In full paragraphs, in a monologue. How are you? Walk up. Well, I think I married the wrong person. You see what I mean? I just want to be like a fun guy. One of the reasons I'm not as fun is that I don't always understand or am caught up with trends. You know? Like being hip is what makes you fun to people who don't already know you. You got good clothes on, you know, stylish, whatever. I didn't know what Stanley's, I didn't know what Stanley's, when I found out about Stanley's, I thought white women had just got more into hockey, right? Like I was like, why is everybody shitting on them for just doing what dudes do all the time? But then I found out that it was a cup, and it's just a cup for holding water, and then I got upset. Then I was furious. I was like, you got these women beating each other in the back of the head in Target for a cup to hold what? This is dystopian behavior. They out here fighting in Target like it's Mad Max Fury Road. It's so upsetting. It's really crazy. I don't know if you've seen the videos, but wow. This is truly wild. Starbucks, I think it was Starbucks made some sort of collaboration with Stanley, and they put it in Target for this pink Stanley. Now, the pink Stanley has fallen right out of the Barbie movie like a meteor to destroy the white community, all right? This is really bad. Because then when you see the video, and we've seen stuff like this, you've seen Black Friday videos, you've seen videos of people swinging on each other and everything. That's nothing new, really. But This is what bothered me, is that there's one video in particular where a guy tried to steal one. He wanted to steal one. He wanted one, right? This man tried to steal one. Remember that. The whole story for one, okay? This dude ran up and grabbed a box. Now, to be fair to everybody in the video, there's no way to know how many are in the box. He knows it's one, but it could be 36, right? He goes to run off with the box, and the whole video is just one woman's phone, and she's just going, "Stop him! Stop him! Stop him! Stop it!" And she really didn't need to yell anything because they were already on his ass. Like as soon as he peeled off, they were all behind him, and it was a swarm of white. But I don't even know what you call this type of collection of white women. A bachelorette party of white women was chasing this man down, and they didn't just catch up to him. They grabbed him one limb at a time. Like this man was taken to the ground systematically. And then they look, I'm not saying at the end of the video they swarm him. I mean, I'm not saying they killed him, but you'd never see him again. All right, it's pretty jarring. Like they just swarm him, and his body just disappears. And I don't know which video y'all saw, but the one I saw, you hear him at the end of the video go, "Ah!" It's like that might be a death rattle. They may have really got him. That sounds like the last noise a man make before he go. That was crazy. He wanted to steal one. And look, I get it. He's in the store. It's a crime. I understand. But you never have bystanders step in like that. Never see anything like that. For a cup. Never forget this is a cup. I don't even know does it hold more water than any cup? This is absolutely crazy. People are stealing them and selling them out of trunks. This is crack for white women. This is out of a trunk. I got the white, I got the pink, I got the blue. You like fuchsia? I can get you right. It's absolutely insane. Then turns out they're full of lead. We've been beating the shit out of each other for lead cups like it's the Industrial Revolution. Slapping it. I'm not gonna lie to you. This low-key feels like a power play by China. I think China was like, this is the year, 2024 is the year we take America down. I was very weirded out by it, but also if it makes you happy, it makes you happy. A part of me even was kind of excited when I saw all these videos, because I don't know, Stanley Cups, especially the pink ones, they're just Jordans for white women. Like this is the last time I seen that type of behavior, just openly being robbed of your possessions. Speaking of Jordans, this blew my mind. There's a company that is letting people rent Jordans, like monthly. You can't afford the Jordans, you can rent it from us monthly for like $19.95 a month. It's one of the saddest things I've ever seen. It's like, if you're one of the people in here doing it, then I apologize, but I'm about to talk about you. This is truly insane. Like, you don't own it. What a great metaphor for being an American. It's like you don't own it, but you'll rent it. Because no one is gonna check if you own it. Like, to be fair, I've never looked at someone's gear and been like, but is it yours? It's never occurred to me. If you're wearing a hat, I assume that's your hat. I don't think that's on layaway. I think that's a hat you liked, and so you bought it, and you must own it, you know? But now, it's created this weird thing for me, because what's the system like if you don't pay? Like the Jordan repo. Because think about this, how are you supposed to know? Let's say you have been making your payments, you're a couple months behind on those Jordans. How are are you supposed to know if you get repoed or regular robbed? Do you know what I mean? You turn down a dark corner and somebody like come about them Jordans and you're like, no, legally do I have to?
How are you guys doing? I'm actually really blessed to be here. I am from Louisiana. A lot of people don't know this about me, but I'm a Katrina survivor, so it's like crazy that I'm even hearing it. I wasn't in the hurricane. I dated a girl named Katrina. She was a terrible person. No, let me tell you about her. Right? Crazy, terrible. Almost ruined my life, okay? Ooh, it was horrible. She busted through my window, put a hose through my window, turned the hose on, okay? Then flooded my whole apartment. So when my other friends in New Orleans, like, Katrina's destroyed my home, destroyed my life. I was like, you too? You too. I thought I was the only one. She needs to be put down, is all I'm saying. I am from Louisiana. I'm from a part of Louisiana where people lean out of their Ford F-150 as I'm walking down the street and they're like, nagger! And I'm like, that is not how you say it. That's embarrassing. Someone needs to teach him racism. There's not a Y in that word. Oh, you're doing it wrong. I'm a little man. And like, this thing, I'm not the smallest person you've seen, but I'm just small enough that if I was yelling at my girlfriend in public, it wouldn't bother anybody. like usually when you see that, you're like, hey, calm down, is there a problem here, buddy? But for me, it's like, oh, he needs a nap. I know I'm not the only one that this is for, but like I have an incredibly white voice. Everyone tells me how white my voice is, and I didn't know how white it was until like really recently I came to terms with it. And this is how I know, guys. I phone interview very well. Guys, I crush phone interviews. I hurt feelings, okay? And my name is Josh Johnson, which is basically a resume template. So then I show up and they try not to act disappointed, but we all know what happened. I know you're feeling catfish right now. Let me start on Monday. If you're looking at me and you're like, this guy's been mugged, you'd be right. I'm very muggable. You need to know me. I don't know if other guys in the room do this. Help me out if you do. When you see a dude coming towards you that looks threatening, do you think in your head how you're gonna have to take him? Does that come across your mind? Because the way I can fight in my head is astounding. And the way I fight in real life, not so much. It's pretty terrible. So this dude was coming towards me. He looked threatening, was looking right at me, coming right at me. I thought in my head, oh, looks like we're going to have to Jason Bourne this. I'm going to jump up in the air, do 3 flips. I don't want to do 3, but we need to do what needs to be done. You know, bring my knee down his face, crack his skull, punch him in the face so he's incapacitated. That was my plan. This dude's plan was, I'm going to punch this guy in the face and take his wallet. So we met up. He had a much better plan than I did. His plan was on fire, execution, everything. Some of you guys don't know about me. If you punch me hard enough in the face, I pee. So we met up. He punched me in the face. I hit the ground, started peeing round Q. I don't disappoint, okay? Now he's trying to fit his huge muscular hand into my pocket to take my wallet, but his hand gets stuck because my pants fit. Go figure, I know. But now his hand is stuck in my pants, but he can see the pee stain getting bigger. And my pants are like, he's lifting me off the ground at this point. I weigh 125. Forget it! And he leaves. Guys, who needs karate? Am I right? I did get the cops called to my apartment. last year, the cops called my apartment because my neighbor thought that I was beating my girlfriend. So I had to explain to the police, not only do I not have a girlfriend, but it's just me in here. Sounding crazy enough to be two people. And in my defense, I was losing a fight to a ceiling fan. Let me explain. We've been to the moon, and we use little pieces of glass to talk to other people on the other side of the world if we choose, but there's still no clear indication when to stop pulling the drawstring on a ceiling fan. Now I'm chilly. I was warm before, now I'm chilly. I like the ceiling fan stop because I'm chilly, okay? And it's just going... So the cops come, right? So the cops come, and they don't arrest me, but they feel real sorry for me. Because if you're yelling at an appliance, I'll kill you, you know why you're single, you know? Like, oh. I don't know, man. Like, have you guys ever had a day you knew it was gonna be bad, as soon as you woke up, you knew it was gonna be a bad day? Like Susan Bennett. This happened to me a while ago. I got up, got dressed for work. I got my foot and my head outside, okay? Just my foot and my head, and a bird shit on my head. This thing. Never been shown by a bird before, didn't know I handled it, didn't know what to do next. The bird shit hit my head, slid down my forehead, the shit that went in between my fingers hit my shoes, so he got me good. The bird got me good. If this were a drive-by, I'd be dead. That's a head shot, a hand wound, foot shot, not going anywhere. And instead of using any sort of common sense at all, I just look up and the bird's not done. Okay? So now, stick with me. When a bird poop is coming right towards your eye, it looks exactly like you should have majored in something better in college so you have a better job so you can afford the rent at places that covered in trees and vines, okay? Because now, if I had a quarter for every time I changed my major to something that was still stupid, I'd have the $2.25 it takes to take the bus with bird shit on you, which is what it did. Because bird shit in my eye and I had to go. I was late when I left, I can't turn around. And we were sitting on the bus with bird shit on you, everybody knows. No one on that bus was like, I may have a sports fight with his friends. Things a whole lot. Everyone knew it was bird shit. A homeless dude moved a seat away from me. That's the sort of pariah I become in a split second. And then this girl sitting across from me, thick neck bitch, all right? Sitting across from me, giving me the black woman with blonde hair, Wendy's, judging me like I'm not on my way to work. That's where I'm headed, man. You don't know me. You don't know my life, okay? But then we get to her stop. She gets up. She walks out, and I see that this bitch has Dorito dust on the back of her neck. Who the fuck are you to judge me when you got Dorito dust on the back? This was an accident. That's a lifestyle choice, bitch. Right? Because that means that when you eat Doritos, you either put your head in the fucking bag, okay? Or you eat Doritos like such a savage, you actually break a sweat up to wipe it off or you get the chance to suck your fingers judging me. Since we're judging each other, your new name is Dirtfoot, bitch, all right? Got Dorito dust on the back of your neck like you somebody's uncle or something. You scratch and sniff hobo, bitch. That's some Josh Johnson. Have a great night,
What an incredible day. It's been beautiful outside. It's a real, yeah, no, you can clap. This is big for us because we had a whole ass hurricane this weekend. That was crazy. It was so, New York this is already a dirty place. This is already a disgusting city. This place should never be wet. That was unacceptable. Like even when I looked outside, I was like, there's a whole lot of stuff out there right now that should not be getting wet, right? And then I had to run. So I was gonna be late for a spot, so I was running, right? And as I was running, I almost slipped. And if I had fallen on the wet New York pavement, if I had fallen on the somehow warm water, I don't even think I would have not. I think I would have killed myself. I think that was on my last thread. I've been reading the news and I saw this story that's captivated me. It was a British Airways pilot that got fired because they caught him the night before. He had done a bunch of cocaine off of a stripper's titty. I know. Some of y'all are like, awesome. And I read the whole story, and when I got done reading the story, I had lots of questions. First question. Why is the titty part of the story? That feels, you know what I mean? That feels like the least consequential part. The titty did nothing wrong. Like, it was just being there for a good time and everything. And second, is that why they fired him? What did they go to him? They were like, you don't even do it all flat surfaces. You're not responsible with your cocaine. How can we put lives in your hands when you're this reckless with your cocaine? You know when you put it on the titty, you lose at least half. Third question that it brought up for me. Is flying a plane low-key easy? How are pilots this comfortable getting this blazed all the time? It's like, this story happens like once a month. Pilots get caught being drunk and being high or whatever. I have a theory, and this is a conspiracy theory that just I have. And I know I don't expect you to believe what I'm about to say. I just think this, okay? You know, like when you're getting off a flight and you're walking to the front and the pilot is standing there, just standing in front of the cockpit. You know that weird thing they do? It's really awkward. They're like waiting for some sort of attaboy or something. It's like, it's honestly the thirstiest thing I've ever seen. Like they just land the plane and now they're like, oh, did you like that? That was me. That was... They, like, pilots in front of the cockpit after the flight look like dudes before Tinder. Just like, what do you think of me? So anyway, when you look past them, which I always do, when you look right past them into the cockpit, you can see all these like little switches, all these levers in the cockpit, all these little lights, all these labels. I think, just me, I think none of that shit worked. That's all for show. That's not real. There's a button under their seat that says fly, and they hit that. That's how the plane takes off. Otherwise, I can't believe they're this comfortable being drunk, you know? Because I think it must just be an easy job. Everyone here knows somebody with an easy job that is high for that job 100% of the time. I got 5 friends that are dog walkers. They're on the moon half the week. All they gotta do is walk. Yep. All right. You don't even need to give them a direction. Just they walk until the dog is tired. These dogs look like tortilla chips, by the way, to them. They're very high. I don't know. Just maybe you don't need to fire them. Did they really need to fire them? You know, ask yourself truly. What if he fly better on cocaine? Did anybody ask that? What if he's a better pilot? What if he does a little cocaine and then he's up there alert, just dodging clouds? Let him be, if it's an easy job, let him be drunk and high. Just knock $200 off my ticket. That's all I ask. I'll take a drunk discount. I don't care. You know? That's the other thing. You know, we narrowly missed it by like 2 hours. There was almost a government shutdown. There was almost a whole government shutdown, which is crazy. We send them to do government. We send these people to do government, and they're so bad doing government, they almost didn't have money for government. And then they still weren't going to be fired. You know what I mean? When there's a government shutdown, they just take a vacation and then come back and work it out. It's insane. And they still get paid. They mismanage this shit so badly that it has to shut down and they still get paid. It's the government workers that don't get paid, you know? Federal workers have to get furloughed. They don't get any pay. FAA up there doing their job, hoping they'll get paid later. TSA doesn't get paid. If you think TSA are some bastards now, imagine them showing up knowing they're not getting paid. If you are not getting paid to do TSA and you still show up, you're doing it for the love of the game, all right? You doing it because you like fucking up people's flights. That's the whole real. Oh, this bitch thinks she going to Aruba. All right, not today. Not on my watch. All right. I can't stand them. They're the worst. They really are. They always asking me dumbass questions. You know, you'll be in line. They'll grab your bag, be like, why is there so much lotion in this bottle? It's like, that's how it came. Don't act like I'm being weird. That's how much Aveeno CVS sells. I didn't make the lotion. Just throw it away if you need to. They be holding it up like, he's got lotion. Why does he have so much lotion? Questions need to be answered. It's like, oh my God. Can't stand it. You know? That's the thing. That's how you know nobody cares about your safety in reality. Nobody cares. Nobody at the airport cares. Pilot is drunk. And the TSA is just, they say they're looking for bombs, but they're just taking menial shit off you. They're like, why is your comb so sharp? It's like, oh my God. They like trying to check if everything is a bomb, but then they still will let an airport have a Taco Bell. It's like, what about those ass bombs you're sending in the air? That's crazy. It's wild. Because what if something happens, like the Spain plane? Remember the Spain plane? Do y'all know about, okay, in case you don't know about the Spain plane, there was a plane on its way to Spain months ago that had to turn around halfway there because somebody shit the plane, all right? And no, the plane got bathrooms. They weren't like, hold it until you get to Spain. Someone shit the plane, all right? That's crazy. CNN reported it. That's how big of a story it was. They had to divert. People were like, is there a terrorist on? It's like, kinda. Like, it was absolutely crazy. Someone went to college, studied journalism, then got a job at CNN. And at 8 o'clock on my TV, they were like, somebody shit the plane. Somebody. That's why I feel like, just roll with me here for a second. Just stick with me. I feel like the world would be a better place if more women punched people. Because I feel like there's a show that I watched. I was raised by 3 women, so I watched a lot of Lifetime, all right? And there was a show on Lifetime called Snapped. If you haven't heard of it, it's a show about women killing their husbands, all right? And just so you know, there's 28 seasons, so women have been cooking, okay? Anyway, I bring all this up because I watch a lot of Snap because I was raised by these 3 women, always watching Lifetime, so then I'm watching and I'm just looking for all the men's mistakes. I'm just like, all right, good to know. But honestly, a lot of the episodes, if y'all have watched the show, the day they kill the husband, sometimes he didn't do anything that day. You know what I mean? He was just like, hey, babe, where's the... Just a couple punches and this whole shit could have been avoided. You know what I mean? Just letting it build up. It's not good, you know? I'm very worried, too. I worry about the economy more and more every day. Not just because I'm getting older and I finally have started to understand it, like, genuinely. Like, a lot of this does not make sense. Like, a lot of what we're doing. I know we all watch The Big Short and everything, but, like, this is actually bad, what's happening. Like, I know the economy is getting worse and worse because more and more of my Uber drivers have been white. And this is terrifying, all right? Is the economy in shambles? What's happening? Do you know the terror that goes through my heart when I open up Uber and it says Spencer will be there in 3 minutes? I'm like, nuh-uh. Whatever happened to him is happening to me next week, all right? This is very bad. And the worst part about having a white Uber driver is their honesty. You know, because I'm a jovial guy. I get in the car and I'm like, hey, how's it going? You know, white Uber driver tell you the truth. They will. They'll let it all out. You know what I mean? Hey, how's it going? She took everything. Like, oh, yo. I did not know. I remember the first time it happened. I'll never forget my first white Uber driver. Tyler. I got in the car, I was like, hey man, how's it going? He's like, obviously not fucking well. I'm like, okay, whoops, my bad. You all been great, thank you so much. I'm Josh Johnson.
Give it up right now for the one and only Josh Johnson!
I reflected a lot and I came up with a lot of New Year's resolutions this year. I don't normally do it. I almost never do New Year's resolutions, but this year I had kind of a bunch because it just so happened I was really thinking about myself and life when the time came. And the problem with New Year's resolutions, the reason that they're so hard to keep is that a year is a year long. If you could make a New Year's resolution and really only had to do it for like 3 weeks, you knock it out of the park. But there's something about the 5th Monday where you're like, again? No. And I think we should all cut ourselves some slack, genuinely, when you have trouble making your New Year's resolution a habit or sticking to it, because
New Year's resolutions are as old as calendars. So as long as we've been keeping track, we've been trying to be better and failing. It's very human. And our New Year's resolutions, by and large, are things that we're gonna do or stop doing to stop hurting ourselves. If you read through history and you go back to the New Year's resolutions of whole civilizations, right? The Babylonians, the Romans, these people would have ceremonies, and usually a lot of what they did, a lot of their New Year's resolutions was to appease their gods or the tribe at large. It wasn't just about them. And all of our New Year's resolutions, for the most part, are things we're going to stop doing or start doing to stop hurting ourselves. They had New Year's resolutions to stop hurting other people. You read back in history, there were just New Year's resolutions of whole tribes that were like, this year, y'all, we not gonna pillage. We were doing too much last year. We were pillaging over here, pillaging over here. Not everything need to be pillaged. We need to start focusing on us, all right? Even probably had a tribe leader came up with a slogan, we not gonna pillage, we gonna be a village. No, it's as old as time. And admittedly, there are some modern New Year's resolutions. I do know a few people in my life that have had to make New Year's resolutions to stop hurting other people. You know, it's rare, but it does happen. Like I had one friend nonchalantly said, you know what, this year, I'm gonna cut less people. First of all, I didn't know she was cutting anybody. Second, your New Year's resolution is day one. Your New Year's resolution is to cut less. You didn't say none. None was an option. The year hasn't happened yet. You haven't even met who will be worth cutting, and you're still like, I might maybe give them a pass. Said, I'm gonna cut less people, and I was like, what do you mean cut less people? They were like, oh, you know how it is. I hate being asked or told if or that I know how something is when I clearly have no idea how it is. Oh, you know how it is. You go out and somebody press you, and next thing you know, you holding the blade on you. It's like, what life do you think I'm leading? What life are you leading? When are you doing this? I had a couple of New Year's resolutions. One of them was to focus on my health, which I'm already regretting. Genuinely, because this is my thing. When you try to focus on your health in the beginning of the year, you really think you're gonna do it. And that's why I'm making a New Year's resolution. If you tell me what I'm doing wrong, if you tell me what's wrong with me, in like September, I'm probably gonna be like, then I'll die. Sorry. I like doing that. But if we're starting a new year and you're like, don't do that, I'll be like, okay, I'll try, right? No. But the problem is when you focus on your health, you have to go to the doctor. And going to the doctor is a little bit too exact and final for me. If something's wrong with me and I'm telling a friend about it and we're just sort of going back and forth spitballing about what it could be, it's almost kind of fun. You're like, maybe it's that. Oh, maybe it's that. Let's Google it. Oh, we shouldn't have Googled it. You know what I mean? But when you go to the doctor's like, no, you sick. No. And basically, I had to go to the doctor pretty early because, all right, it's embarrassing to admit, but I feel like if I'm open, if I'm vulnerable about it, then it'll hopefully remove some of the stigma, okay? I had to go to the doctor because too many, I would even say most of my farts were whistling. Okay, all right. So if you're going through what I'm going through and you hear that laughter, that's why I'm doing this, to try to break through. try to show the normalcy of what was happening to me. So basically, when I would fart, I don't even fart all the time, but every once in a while, one goes, and it was just having at the tail end, very tail end, it was having just a little like to it. I didn't know where it was coming from. I didn't know why it was happening, but I was hearing it. And I'm not like a musician in that way. I don't know a lot of music theory, but it did seem like a bit of a D sharp to it. Like it had a little bit of that fire alarm, that a little bit of that at the very end, right? And so one day I was walking and I don't even remember the food that I had, but it hit me in the wrong way. And so I sounded like a piccolo. I was walking and my steps were just a little fluty. And I don't know about y'all, but sometimes I walk and listen to music. So I'll have my big old headphones on, they're noise canceling, so I can really enjoy the music and everything. And I knew I had a problem because the cut through it was so high of a pitch, it must have got under the noise canceler. And so I was just walking, and I don't know, once again, about you, but when I'm wearing my headphones, I'm listening to music, and I'm walking, it feels like I can fart however loud I want, because I can't hear it, so then it must not be that bad. I know that's not actually how sound works, but it's just kind of what goes through my head while I'm doing it. And I was walking, I just heard it sort of like, do you remember? And I was like, uh-oh, I should probably talk to somebody. And so I did. I went to the doctor, and when I got to the doctor, I had a bit of an issue because I even tried to use as many big words as I could to describe what was happening to lessen the blow of what I had to say. So I was like, my flatulence is having some orchestral notes to it. And the doctor was like, what? And I'm like, don't do that. One of the main reasons I hate going to the doctor is because if you're a doctor, and especially if you're older than me and you're a doctor, I'm assuming you've been a doctor for a while, right? And if you've been a doctor for a while, then I'm assuming you've seen a lot of stuff. But somehow when I go to the doctor and I tell them my problem, they've never heard of it before. You got all these encyclopedias in here with all these diagrams of people's bodies and stuff, but then I tell you what I'm happening, you're like, what? And then I just made it simple. I was like, look, my farts are whistling. He was like, what? And I was like, that's worse. What happened to bedside manner? And so, he fixed it. I'm fine now. It doesn't happen anymore. But yeah, basically there was something going on where I had pretty much like overexerted myself, and he explained it better, but I guess my organs were kind of like a Tom and Jerry configuration, and it was just making me whistle at the very end, and then it went back to normal. My second New Year's resolution was to be very mindful about what I do and say on a podcast. Now, I'm not perfect, but this has been the downfall of a lot of people. I'm not even saying that there's never going to be a podcast where I talk out of pocket. I don't know. It's just talking. And it's so much talking that along the way, you say something dumb or something that doesn't age well or something that you don't even really think. Maybe just talking, right? You get anybody to talk for hours and hours and hours, and eventually they'll say something pretty dumb. So I'm trying to be mindful about what I do and say on a podcast, because when podcasts started, before there was a ton of money in it, it was just one of two things. It was either people who had such a great rapport with each other that listening to them felt like listening with them, like being there with them and just having a party with your friends, and it was an interesting conversation that you felt like you were a part of, right? Or there was a very interesting person, an incredibly interesting person, and then someone had them on their podcast who was a good interviewer. And through giving a good interview, they pulled all of these interesting and beautiful things out of this very interesting person and then gave it to you. And so you either got some sort of education from it or you got some sort of community from it, right? And now podcast, I think we made too many microphones. Because now it's a genuine mess. You know? Like, I watched what I think was maybe one of the most important podcast clips of all time. One that exactly, perfectly describes what I'm kind of talking about. Mike D has a podcast, and in that podcast, he was talking to OG Tulo, a rapper. And while he was talking to him, OG Tulo reaches into his pocket and somehow shoots himself in the leg. I'm encouraging everyone to watch this clip because it's truly one of the most important moments in podcasting ever. I had so many questions when I saw this man shoot himself in the leg. First of all, what gun is little enough? But also, what pocket is big enough? Because you can't see a gun. He's literally got his hand in his pocket, which means there's a gun and his hand in his pocket. How deep are these pockets? They're like optical illusions. This man reaches into his pocket, and I want to be clear here, okay? OG Tulo and Mike D, they weren't having some sort of argument. Mike D wasn't coming at him. It's not like he was reaching in his pocket to grab his gun. If anything, it looked like he was reaching in his pocket for something else. And can I just say, don't put your gun in your pocket. But if you do, make sure your gun is the only thing in that pocket. Please do not put your gun and your keys in your pocket. I'm begging you not to put your gun and your phone in your pocket. Because this man looks like he's trying to move the gun. When you rewatch it, I've watched it 2,000 times. It looked like he's trying to move the gun out the way to get something else. And I'm telling you, it's not worth it to have your gun and your gum in the same pocket. This dude reaches into his pocket. Bam! And then Mike D, who's sitting across from him, Mike D goes, "Who shot who?" They're facing each other. He turns to the cameras out there where the people are, who I guess are producing the podcast. And he turns to them and goes, "Who shot who?" Somebody got shot? Sir, how often are people shooting each other at your studio for the first question to be, "Who shot who?" He didn't say who shot who as in like, "Oh no, a gun went off." He turned as if to say, "Y'all, we are trying to do something." This man turns, "Who shot who?" Somebody got shot? When you look for the clip, OG Tulo, now that's O, letter O, G, letter G, we're capital letters, the number 2, like an email, OG Tulo, right? OG Tulo is fascinating to me because there are a lot of rappers who their name is not, it's not true to who they are as a person, right? But to his credit, OG Tulo shoots himself in the leg and only goes, his reaction to shooting himself in the leg, all he does is go, "Ooh." This man doesn't cry. He doesn't freak out. He just makes the face you make when you drop a casserole. Just, You know the face you make when you get caught coming home after curfew, you in the dark, you think you made it, then the lights come on and you're like, ooh. He makes the face you make when there's like two people arguing out in the world and you don't know either one, but then one of them is like, that's why I took your man. Ooh. This man simply goes, ooh. And then a person behind the camera calls out and goes, Lo, you good? There are a few things I hate more than being asked if I'm good when I should not be good. When I'm clearly, people wait till you hurt to ask if you're okay. And I understand the reflex question, but you just saw something very bad happen. You saw a man reach in his pocket where he clearly forgot he had a gun. And then shoot himself in the leg, and now you go, Lo, you good? And OG Too Low simply says, I think. And so I'm trying to be more mindful about what podcasts I do and what I do on them, because I've seen how bad it can go. You know? Another New Year's resolution I had was to take better pictures of my male friends. Okay? As men, we gotta start taking better pictures. This is rough. We wonder why it's a struggle out here, but I'm telling you, I know good men. Not just decent men, I'm talking about good, wholesome men, father figures, father material, marriage material men who are out here taking pictures forehead first. I'm talking about forehead presented, forehead shiny, optical illusion forehead forward. I don't even know how you get that angle. Did you put the camera on your head? You know, because that's what happens. As a man, you don't get that many good pictures taken of you by other dudes. You know? And then you post it because it's one of the only good pictures you have. You want to go on a dating site, you want to meet people, you go ahead and you post the pictures you have of yourself because what you have is what you have. And then you put that out into the world and you wonder why there aren't many bites. There aren't a ton of bites because when people are scrolling through your pictures, you look blurry. You look like if they met you, you would only be a memory, you know? You know what I'm talking about? You know that wave look when it's like, it's almost a good picture, but there's that movement at the end, so you're a little blurry on one side. Will she be dating a ghost? Who knows? We've got to start taking better pictures of each other's men. And I know it's hard. I know it feels weird to like take, because women are so good at doing it for each other. They'll take incredible pictures of each other. It won't even be picture day. It'll just be some good lighting in a random place. And they'll be like, hold up, stop. Let me get you. No. Pose, quick. Yep, see, this is good. You know? It's tough. We don't try enough. We don't try. Even if you muster up the courage as a man to know that you look good that day, and you ask your boy to take a picture of you, as men, we get too uncomfortable trying to make each other look good. Like you're scared to try to make your boy look hot. Even if you're looking good, bona fide, looking good, anybody can see it. You're dressed well, shaved, everything, right? And then you hand the phone to your boy. He's like, got it. That's not helpful. You didn't get it. You didn't get it. That's why when I post the picture, I look like smoke. Because you were so uncomfortable, you couldn't stop, let the phone rest for a sec. The phone didn't even get to adjust. Do you know the technology we have in our pockets? And the phone was like, I didn't get that at all. Women will do anything to take a good picture of their friend, especially when the friendship is mixed. Like when you're out with your male, female friends and you're just walking, going to a restaurant, whatever, and then there's a moment where it's like, hey, this is good lighting, stop, let me take a picture of you. I've seen work put in. Because they love their friend. The things I've seen, it's not just one of these. I've seen women get angles for each other. Angles that it never occurred to me to get. The way that I've seen women work their knees backwards. No, you be still. I'm good. You be still. That's it right there. That's it. That's it. That's it. No, men take such bad pictures of ourselves and have such bad pictures of us taken. I'm pretty sure that's why nobody looks for us when we go missing. Be honest right now. If there is a man that goes missing, if they even put his picture on the local news, it's the worst picture of him if it's not a picture from high school. If it's not his high school picture with that bow tie or whatever, it's just him being like... And then you see the picture and you're like, I think he did it. I think he kidnapped him. That's what happened. I solved it. We don't need to look. We don't need to look. That's why when you put a woman's picture on the national news, it's any picture. It's just a picture of her that's recent. And people are like, find her! Because it's a good picture. Another New Year's resolution that I made was to start making, how do I put this? I want to start having manlier mannerisms. The entire time I've been alive, I've just been moving the way I move because it's what feels natural to me in the moment, but I'm seeing every once in a while there'll be someone that comes into my life that shows me that actually, maybe not this way. When I was young, I was working this job, and there was a dude on the job who was he was in prison, and he was on work release. And he took me under his wing and was trying to teach me how to be more of a man. I didn't ask him to, but I also didn't really know how to take up for myself, so... I would do little things, and he would try to correct those things for me, right? And I remember one time I walked in the room, and it was pretty stinky. And because it was stinky, I tried to waft, in front of my face, like waft, like you would when it stinks. You're like, ooh, it's stinky, right? You know what I mean? Like, you've done this. Don't act like it was stinky, right? But the way I did it, my hands were too fluid when I was... Because it was stinky, but I felt like this was more efficient to get it out of my face. I was like whipping it out of the way, right? And he saw me and he was like, stop doing that. And I'm like, what? Why? And he's like, your hand looked like a whisper doll. One time he tried to, dap me up, but he had big hands.
And so when he did it, I'm not gonna lie, it hurt. And so I pulled my hand back, and I pulled my hand back like, and he was like, don't do that. I'm like, what should I do then? He's like, I don't know, but not that. The worst one was, you know, people talk about fight or flight, and people often don't talk about freeze, which is what I did in this particular situation. This dude had been on work release, right? And some dudes who he must have got into it with before he went to jail found out where he worked. They waited for him to take a smoke break, and they tried to jump him. Now, initially, when they tried to jump him, they were just pressing him outside, talking. I don't know if he owed them money. I don't know what the situation was. All I know is I'm walking out with the trash, and then they swing on this dude, all right? And then he, by himself, fights off both of these dudes. And he's not really losing or winning, but he'll take one to give one, and then he'll get one good enough that they back up a bit so he can focus on the other one and then go back to this guy and everything. But then at one point, my man, he gets clipped. He gets clipped by one of these dudes, right? And they have him with an uppercut, and he goes backwards. And I'm not proud of it, but it was my genuine reaction. When he got hit, I did go. Because apparently I touch my cheeks when I gasp. I didn't know that about me either, but nothing had happened to make me gasp in a long time. So when it happened, I was like, oh. And people look at you different. When you do like a full Macaulay Culkin, when you hit them with the Macaulay, with the... Another one of my New Year's resolutions is to take a break from Facebook Marketplace. This is my thing. It's not even that I'm buying a lot, it's just everyone that I seem to buy off of on Facebook Marketplace is I'm never meeting them at a good point in their life. Right? So when I meet them, there's a whole energy to it that doesn't feel like just regular commerce. As an example, I went over one time, I needed a bed frame, so I went to purchase the bed frame. Facebook Marketplace, I show up, right? I've already paid, and I show up to pick up the bed frame, and it's not as if I came there to make a friend. I wasn't trying to sit down and have tea or something like that. I really was there to pick up the bed frame and be out. But the way I was being rushed the entire time was making this start to feel like some stolen goods. Do you know what I mean? Just I'm like, all right, so can I help you put it somewhere? Do you have a truck or do you have something? I was like, oh, okay, all right, calm down, right? And then while taking the bed frame, there's a piece missing. And so then they go to get this piece. And when they go to get the piece, there's a truck that pulls up. And then when they walk back out, they're like, oh no. And then this guy gets out of the truck and he's like, Amy, why? Why? And I'm just here for the bed frame. He's like, Amy, why? And she's like, I told you why. I'm done with you. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of everything that you do. I've given you so many chances. And now she is yelling over my shoulder. Like I'm here. I'm where I am now. She's right here yelling at him who's behind me going, why? So I am kind of like this child of divorce in this moment. He's like, why? I told you why. No, but why, Amy? Is it him?
And I can honestly tell you right now, it didn't look like it would be me, because when he said, "Is it him?" I went, "Huh?" And then she went, "What? No." She didn't have that. Now I'm looking at both of them like, "Huh?" And they clearly had some stuff to work out, and I was very uncomfortable. I couldn't get the piece because she was still looking forward. He was crying, so I left the bed frame. Another time, there was another time where I was going to buy a teddy bear. I had someone that I was trying to get the teddy bear for because they like novelty teddy bears. I was trying to do something a little sweet and everything. And I go there to pick up the teddy bear, and not everybody posts the dimensions of the item that you're buying, but when I get there, the teddy bear, my size, right? So way bigger than I was expecting. The teddy bear is like a 5 foot something teddy bear. And this particular teddy bear, which was apparently like novelty because it was made like handmade and everything, from behind, the teddy bear had a lot of ass. Like a twerkable amount of ass. Like it was cheeky. And so, you know, I'm trying to pick it up and it weighs a man. And so I was like, okay, maybe not. Because now even if I give this as a gift, one, it's too big, and two, I'm gonna have to explain what's happening back here. I went to buy a fridge one time, and I get there and I'm talking to this guy about the fridge, like where I should go get it, and he's looking at me confused. And he's standing right outside of the address that I was given, and he sounded all confused. And then he tells me he's there to buy a fridge. And then homeboy opens the door and basically invited us both to go ahead and haggle in person over the fridge. I was like, that's insane. We had a price that we agreed on, and the other guy was like 55. And I was like, you're not helping our case at all. You're not a good negotiator. I went to buy a couch. This should have been plain and simple. You're moving, I need a couch, you need to get rid of a couch, we're done. I show up, even had the truck ready because I've known from before, you gotta have the getaway vehicle in tow. And sure enough, pull up, you know, we're carrying out the couch in pieces, cushions first, also like that, trying to get the couch lifted up out the door and stuff. And this man who is selling the couch keeps trying to upsell me on dolls that he made himself. And you can tell. He made these like knockoff porcelain Cabbage Patch dolls that already freaking look at to begin with. They already look at you, no matter where you are in the room, they got eyes on you. And then he made it so he stuffed them a little bit and then he put a button on it. And when you put the button on it, it was supposed to cry. Like, you know, the way that you buy it, the way it's wham, okay, hold the baby, right. Except he must have recorded the cry. Because this doll's cry was haunting. You press the button on this doll to cry because he did it. No one asked him to. Trying to upsell us on these dolls while we trying to lift a couch that is apparently made out of lead because we cannot get it up. Meanwhile, he not helping, presses the button on the doll, and the doll, instead of a wham, wham, it gives a cry that screams 1800s horror movie. This doll presses the button, this doll goes, oh! I'm doing that because he made so the mouth open. I was so genuinely terrified that I left the couch. That's why I need to take a break from Facebook Marketplace, because I don't really leave with my items. I don't really...